Indiana rental laws govern the rights and responsibilities of both the landlord and the tenant, whether it's dealing with rent payment, the terms of a lease, or eviction. In this video, we'll give you an overview of what the state law says about lease agreements, required disclosures, security deposits, and eviction. eForms, the largest online database of fillable legal forms. Check out the link below to access a fillable lease agreement template. First, let's go over the basics. What is a lease agreement? A lease agreement is a rental contract between a landlord and a tenant. Depending on the type of agreement, whether it's a month-to-month lease, a standard agreement, or a rent-to-own, both the landlord and the tenant are bound to the specific terms regarding the length of the lease, termination, and more. Because a lease agreement is legally binding once it's signed, breaking the contract can result in hefty fines or even legal action. Next, let's look at required disclosures. In Indiana, the landlord must include the following disclosures in the lease agreement. Disclosure of managers and agents. The landlord must disclose the name of every person allowed to enter the property on their behalf. On a related note, a landlord is legally not allowed to enter the space for any non-emergency reasons without giving reasonable notice to the tenant, either written or verbally. Lead-based paint disclosure. Under federal law, the landlord must provide a disclosure notice about lead-based paint if the property was built on or before 1978. Next, let's look at the security deposit laws. Indiana does not have a maximum cap on security deposits, meaning the landlord may ask for as much as they want from the tenant. Under state law, the landlord must return the security deposit to the tenant within 45 days of the termination of the lease. Finally, let's cover Indiana's eviction laws. In Indiana, a landlord may evict a tenant under the following requirements. Non-payment of rent. If the tenant is late on rent, the landlord can issue a 10-day notice to pay or quit. Non-compliance. If the tenant breaks any portion of the lease other than non-payment of rent, the landlord must provide the tenant with a reasonable amount of time to remedy the violation. If the violation is not fixed by the time frame determined by the landlord, the tenant must move out. Termination. If the landlord wants to terminate a month-to-month lease for reasons other than non-payment of rent or non-compliance, they must provide 30 days notice to the tenant. Want to learn more about Indiana rental laws? Visit the link in the video description for a comprehensive breakdown on all things related to lease agreements, evictions, and more.